Hello and welcome to News Now. Troops of the Multinational Joint Task Force say they have recaptured the town of Damasak in Borno State, northeast Nigeria from terrorist sect Boko Haram. Damasak, which was once Boko Haram's stronghold, is located at the adjoining border with Niger. The troops say the town was recaptured during a clearance operation. According to a statement, the troops fought their way into the town with close air support by combined air operation from the MNJTF member states. Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad and Niger have collaborated to wage an intense offensive against Boko Haram. The insurgency, that's the Boko Haram insurgency now, has raged on in Nigeria's northeast for about 7 years. However, in the past few months, the military has succeeded in curbing the activities of the sect and significantly reducing their attacks. The United Nations says it has temporarily suspended humanitarian aid to Nigeria's northeastern region after its convoy was attacked by Boko Haram insurgents. The incident occurred on Thursday in Borno State, a former stronghold of the sect. Boko Haram had ambushed the convoy as it returned to Maiduguri from delivering aid in Bama. A UNICEF employee and an International Organization for Migration contractor were injured during the incident. However, the troops escorting the convoy managed to repel the attack. Just recently, the UN and Mission Sans Frontières expressed concern over food scarcity in the region. According to the United Nations, nearly 250,000 children in Borno suffer from life-threatening malnourishment, and around 1 in 5 will die if they do not receive treatment. A contestant for the office of the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Raymond Dokwesi, says the planned convention of the PDP will go ahead as scheduled despite a court ruling nullifying the McCarthy-led faction of the party. The leadership crisis in the party worsened on Thursday when a federal high court in Abuja ordered that Sharif be recognized as the authentic chairman of the PDP. The judge said the caretaker committee was illegal and ordered the cancellation of the party's national convention scheduled for August the 17th. However, speaking in Lagos at an event to declare his intention to run for the chairmanship of the PDP, Dokwesi insisted that the convention actually will go ahead and that the court ruling will not stop it. Tunji Olanikwekun has that report.
This is not another reconciliation gathering of the PDP in Lagos State, but a declaration of the intention to take the mantle of leadership of the party by one of the aspiring candidates. Raymond Dokwesi has come to the party's secretariat in Lagos to declare his intention to run for the position of the national chairman of the party and seek the support of the Lagos State chapter of the party.
I want to beg all of you here present that the reason why I decided to run for the chairmanship of this party is, amongst others, to unite the party first of all, to rebuild the party, to reinvent the party, to re-energize the party, and to refocus the party, to draw the party back to the vision of our founding fathers.
On Thursday, a federal high court judge had ruled that the Modu Sharif faction of the party remains the authentic leadership of the party, casting a huge shadow over the party's planned convention. But Chief Dokwesi insists the convention will go ahead as planned by the McCarthy-led faction of the party.
Convention will take place on August 17th, as already planned, and is being planned by the People's Democratic Party. A handful of people will now hold the party to ransom.
The PDP chairmanship position has been zoned to the southwest, with Bode George, Jimmy Agbaje, Professor Taoda Adejoja, all in the race from southwest. Tunji Olanikwekun, TV360, Lagos.
Meanwhile, Chief Dokwesi has also insisted that the rumors of a crisis within the party were not true. He hit out at the Sharif faction and maintained that the McCarthy-led faction has the support of majority of the party leaders.
The PDP is not facing any crisis. I make bold to tell you that there are a handful of persons who think that they have the police in their pockets, they have the judiciary in their pockets in the days of the mafia, and that they are only exhibiting those traits and so on. The proper hierarchy of the courts will take the appropriate decisions at the appropriate time. Quite a number of reconciliation meetings that have taken place to pacify the Sharif group I don't know whether they're actually a group. They're a handful of people. 99.999% of PDP members are solidly behind McCarthy.
Meanwhile, Alimodu Sharif has called on the McCarthy-led faction of the party to accept his leadership in order to allow the party progress. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, Sharif maintained that he remains the party's authentic chairman and promised to settle the crisis in the party. He urged the McCarthy faction to rally round him for the sake of the party. Despite global pleas for clemency, Indonesia has executed 4 convicted drug traffickers, including 3 Nigerians that were shot by a firing squad in the early hours of Friday. As many as 14 people were originally set to face the firing squad together on Friday, but officials decided a comprehensive review in 10 cases. President Joko Widodo has pledged to increase the number of executions this year and next as part of his crackdown on drugs. Just over a year ago, Indonesia executed 14 prisoners, including Nigerians, for drug offenses. This caused global outrage and diplomatic row. Rights activists and governments have again called on Indonesia to abolish the death penalty. Indonesia has since defended the execution, saying the killings were necessary to fight the country's war against drugs. Still on the executions, and reactions have started trailing the execution of the drug convicts in Indonesia. Human rights group Amnesty International had urged the Indonesian government to stop the execution, saying the crimes did not warrant a death sentence. However, the execution was carried out despite the calls for clemency. The United Nations and European Union have also condemned the executions. In Nigeria's commercial city of Lagos, there's been mixed reactions. While some were in favor of the executions, others kicked against it.
Drugs has been banned in Indonesia, so the Indonesians have said we should not do anything drug trafficking in their country. But for Nigerians to go and do drug trafficking, they've disobeyed the rules and the regulation of the country, and every country stands by its rules and its regulation. If you are to look at it biblically, we should pardon them, but since they have their own rules, they have their regulation, and we have to abide when we go to Indonesia, I think the law should take its course.
I will say categorically, as a being, I do not support crime, and I do not support anything drug trafficking. But I think we should not reform our life to a way of living that didn't really go with the global yearning and aspiration. I will say categorically, drug is not good, drug trafficking is not good, but human capital punishment is wrong. It's against humanity. It's against fundamental human right of every being. So let's say categorically, we are looking at a point whereby the whole world will condemn capital punishment.
To me, I think killing them is not the solution to stop drug trafficking. So what I believe is that if Amnesty, the international body, can come into a table and discuss the matter with the Indonesian government, at least keeping them in prison is a better solution to this.
We all aware that the drug trafficking in Indonesia is, if you are found guilty, the penalty attached to it is death. And so far, Nigerians are found guilty. I don't see any reason why we should be pity them, because they know the consequence before they dabble into it. So I'm not blaming the Indonesian government, rather I'm blaming our people.
I think it's a good thing in the right direction. Because Indonesia is a very straightforward country. At the point of entry, that is at the airport, it was clearly written that drug peddlers, if you are caught, you will be executed. So it is, you see, they have carried that spirit of, the materialism, because they actually wanted money, quick money. That was why they were into drugs. You understand? So they have been told the consequence is there. So since they are caught, it is good, so that it will serve as a deterrence for others, Nigerians, and any other person who might want to even go into that act.
Now, leaders of the Ijaw community in Lagos State say they are taking steps to stop the criminal activities linked to militants from the Niger Delta region. Some communities in Lagos and Ogun states have recently been attacked by gunmen suspected to be from the Niger Delta region. Speaking for the Ijaws in Lagos, a former president of the Ijaw community, Lagos State, Regent Yumo, in a statement said the Ijaw leaders were set to douse the tension. The Turkish ambassador to Nigeria, Hakan Kahil, has called on the Nigerian government to close 17 Turkish schools in Nigeria for their alleged links with a movement in his government, which his government actually says was involved in the July 15 failed coup attempt in Turkey. The ambassador, who made the call when the Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Husani, paid him a courtesy visit, said the Turkish government had nothing to do with the schools. According to the ambassador, investigations by the Turkish government showed that a movement led by US-based Fethullah Gulen was responsible for the failed coup attempt, which claimed over 200 lives. Meanwhile, the management of the Nigerian Turkish international colleges has denied any involvement in the coup. In a statement on Friday, Orhan Ketim, managing director of the schools, described the request of the Turkish government as baseless and unfounded, saying that although the NTIC, that's the schools in Nigeria, are Turkish in name, they are actually Nigerians. Indeed, they accused the Turkish government of insulting Nigeria by requesting the closure of its schools in the country. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonishakin, has urged media practitioners in the country to be responsive and professional in their coverage of sensitive security issues. Speaking at the 2016 Defense Correspondent Seminar in Abuja on Thursday, General Olonishakin said this will help immensely to bring sustainable peace and security to the country. Representing the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, at the event, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Ayotunde Adeshoga, said the media serves as a key instrument to promote unity.
In a developing nation such as Nigeria, which is engulfed with a dynamic flux of security challenges, the media is required to build bridges of understanding between the military and the people in the discharge of its national security mandate. Therefore, the relationship between the military and the media is expected to create an atmosphere of cordiality to enhance the needed critical dimension of civil-military cooperation. As professionals, you are expected to have a clear understanding of the challenges confronting our country, which range from pastoral farmers' clashes, cattle rustling, kidnapping, militancy, vandalism of critical national infrastructure, particularly oil facilities, ethnic nationalism, terrorism, and insurgency. It is therefore incumbent on all stakeholders in the national security and allied sectors to assist defense media practitioners to build human and institutional capacity to facilitate their effective performance and goal attainment. We all must be responsive as stakeholders in the overriding task of nation building. This seminar is an indication of our commitment and policy focus towards building more robust media-military partnership, particularly with those of you that are devoted to defense and security matters. I have no doubt in my mind that by building bridges of understanding and collapsing the walls of mutual suspicion between the media and the military, our jobs will be a lot easier.
This event is indeed necessary at this period of our national life, considering the various security challenges and civil disturbances across the country, which the military and the media should synergize for the interest of our great nation. The public must be made to understand that the military is there to serve them and therefore deserving of our maximum support. This should help to reduce the level of misunderstanding of the legitimate role of the military in the management of internal conflicts. I believe that capacity building programs of this nature are valuable tools that will promote the understanding of the media and other stakeholders in the management of security information on the peculiarity of their responsibility. It is my hope that more of such initiatives will be organized not only to broaden the knowledge and capacity of our media practitioners, but to also explore opportunities for more collaboration and synergy between the media and the security agencies, as well as other relevant government establishments. As it has often been stated, the media serves as mobilizer and stabilizer in bridging the needed national cohesion and development. We must therefore seek their valued understanding, partnership, and friendship. It is pertinent that I remind us that in times of difficulty, press freedom and rights are anchored towards solving national crises.
The former chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation has insisted that he will not retract his statement against the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. Abdulmumin Jibrin said rather he would continue to release more damning evidence about the budget padding scandal. Jibrin started slamming allegations of corruption against Dogara and other members of the House leadership when he was removed as the chairman of the Appropriation Committee last week. Now, on Wednesday, Dogara had given him 7 days to apologize for the allegations or face a lawsuit. But the legislator has vowed not to apologize to Dogara, instead calling the speaker actually a shameless fraud. Continuing on Friday, Jibrin accused Dogara of diverting a federal government project to his farm in Nasarawa. Dogara has yet to respond to the latest revelation. Well, we'll take a short break here and we'll be right back.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we are in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. The Nigerian government says it will continue to maintain a single-digit interest rate window for the small and medium-scale industries in the country. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelama, told local manufacturers in Lagos that they could still enjoy single-digit interest rate if they channeled their loan requests to development finance institutions. The central bank had raised monetary policy rate to 14% in a move to check rising inflation in the country, but analysts have said the move would make it more difficult for local manufacturers to access funds. Abdullah Ismail has details of that story.
Days after the Central Bank of Nigeria rolled out the new monetary policy rate, players in the Nigerian business community have gathered here to voice their concern over the new rate, which many fear will only worsen things for local manufacturers. Present here to listen to their complaints and address them is the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelama.
A big problem of accessing loans. A lot of our members were talking that they found it very difficult to access a BOI loan, and partly because what is requested as collateral is too high and not affordable.
Is it possible that interest rate in Nigeria can come to single digits? Is a challenge for manufacturers. The second point is on transportation cost. We all know the state of our roads in Nigeria. Honorable Minister, we're asking, is there anything that could be done to help alleviate the problem manufacturers are having currently in transporting their goods across Nigeria?
But they are not happy with the service. They are not getting their ECOWAS certificates till now. Most of them have over more than a year.
One of the areas of interest for us is how to lower the cost of borrowing for SMEs, for industry, and for the key players in government. And the Bank of Industry Managing Director, who is here, will tell you that they lend at sub 10%, despite the MPR being at 12% and now raised to 14%. So that will continue. So we are going to continue to lend within the capacity of government and the development finance institutions at single-digit interest rates.
And Nelema also tells them the government is aware of the pains they are going through and that it is working out a strategic policy that will help the sector to meet its contribution to the nation's gross domestic product, GDP.
The purpose of this meeting was to engage the stakeholders in industry and the players cutting across the entire value chain, from SMEs to the big players to everything in between. And as you can see from the turnout today, we've had a very good turnout and also a very good session. And we've promised our members who are here today, our stakeholders who are here today, that we've heard them, we've taken note of all the points that were made, and are going to form part of the engagement process we have with the rest of government, because as you know, we work as part of a group that is working both at the center and at the state level to address the needs of our people.
Addressing the gathering, the Acting Director General of the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, Paul Hanyam, said his agency is taking measures to discourage the importation of fake and substandard products and help boost production of the manufacturing sector.
Giving them free certification so that they can have the management system of certification, which will enable them, give them a platform on which they can access funding from banks like BOI and other international donor agencies. And that will also afford them an opportunity to attract patronage for their products.
It will be recalled that the manufacturing sector's contribution to the nation's GDP has continued to dwindle as the country is unable to meet up its power generation and distribution. Abiola Ismail, TV360 Lagos.
A Nigerian group known as the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, CDHR, has spoken out against the recent ban on street hawking in Lagos. Over 100 members of the group marched along some major streets in the city to register their protest against the ban. The march eventually ended at the Lagos State House of Assembly, where the group presented a letter to the majority leader of the House demanding that the law be reviewed. The ban was introduced earlier this month after hoodlums destroyed many BRT buses belonging to the state government. A street hawker trying to evade arrest from state officials was reportedly knocked down by one of the buses. Now, the incident led the state governor, Akinwumi Ambode, to enforce the 2003 Lagos Street Trading and Illegal Market Prohibition Law, which stops street hawking.
We are here to submit our petition and proposal to the Honorable Speaker of the House of Assembly that the lack of concern for the masses and non-performance of social responsibility by Mr. Ambode led government, the CDHR Lagos State Branch, demand immediate review of the Street Trading and Illegal Market Law 2003 of Lagos.
Thank you. You are welcome most heartily. I have read through this, but let me say that it's an unfortunate thing. It's an unfortunate thing that something happened and somebody died. As a result of that, I have addressed the issue. I've been on air sometimes. Every government will put in law to regulate the society. Now, the law not to do street trading is a law that anybody can have opinions about. But the law as enshrined, as formulated, is to even regulate a situation where people should be where they sell, and the road, as dangerous as it may be for individuals who may have accident, for individuals who may be unlucky and the rest of it. The intention of the law is well spelled out. But this invitation by the petition you have submitted will be looked into improperly. And please mark my words. Please mark my words. Will be looked at improperly with the views and the spirit of the laws itself, and where the law is found by conviction of 40 members differently elected from different places with different background and with different opinion, the feels that some of it needs to, it will.
Now that we've got a petition on the law, we're going to look at the law and see which area. And when I say we, I'm talking about the 40 members of Lagos State House of Assembly. We look into that law and see if there are areas of amendment or repeal. But for me, I think they have done the right thing by coming to protest, and we will also look at it and see where to address.
Now, Britain is moving to calm fears that its decision to leave the European Union could have an adverse effect on its trade relations with Nigeria. John Howell, who is UK's Prime Minister's trade envoy to Nigeria, says concerns that Brexit could harm trade relations between both countries are unfounded. The envoy who is visiting the country says UK would be seeking to expand trade deals with Africa's largest economy. Howell was at the Nigerian Stock Exchange in Lagos on Wednesday, where he rang the closing bell, signifying the end of trade for that day.
Well, the first thing that the UK government has done is to appoint me as the trade envoy to Nigeria, and that shows the importance that Nigeria has for the UK government. There are not many countries in the world that has a trade envoy, and it is really important for getting to know those opportunities and for passing them back and for enthusing British companies to get involved in the market. It's also a good opportunity for Nigerian companies to get involved in the UK market. And I think you've got to look at the increase of prosperity on both sides as being one of the great things that I want to achieve. What you've got to look at is the enormous enthusiasm that there is in the UK for doing business abroad. We now have a Department of State, the International Trade Department, to be able to deal with that and be able to galvanise British business into looking at opportunities overseas. And I think that will play to Nigeria's strengths as well as to our own. Just look around the country now. There are British companies here that are doing business in Nigeria, and I want to encourage them to do more business.
Now, oil prices fell to fresh April lows on Friday as slowing economic growth threatened to worsen ongoing oversupply of crude and refined products. International Brent crude oil futures were actually trading at $42.42 a barrel. That's down 28 cents, while U.S. crude fell 27 cents to $40.87 a barrel. Both crude benchmarks are now down around 20% since their last peak in June. Some analysts said recent price falls in oil had been overdone, especially as demand remained strong despite concerns over future economic growth. An airstrike has hit a maternity hospital supported by Save the Children in northwestern Syria, killing 2 people and wounding 3 others. Syria Relief, the aid agency that manages the hospital, said those killed were relatives of patients, while another aid agency, Save the Children, said the bomb from an airstrike hit the entrance to the hospital in rural province. The agency says the hospital is the biggest in the area, carrying out more than 300 deliveries a month. Hillary Clinton has told voters the presidential election is a moment of reckoning. That's unquote, as she made history by accepting the Democratic nomination. Speaking on the final night of the party's convention in Philadelphia, the first woman nominated by a major party said there were huge challenges. In her speech, Clinton accused Republican opponent in November's election, Donald Trump, of sowing discord. However, Trump responded in a tweet saying the speech had failed to address the threat posed by radical Islam, making the former Secretary of State unfit to lead the country. Former Super Eagles coach Stephen Keshi has been buried in his hometown Ila in Oshimile North local government area of Delta State, that's in South Nigeria. Keshi died of suspected cardiac arrest in the early hours of Wednesday, June the 8th in Benin City, Edo State, south of the country. He was 54. His burial ceremony started on Thursday with a funeral mass and novelty game in his honor. The big boss was buried on Friday. The ceremonies will continue till Sunday, July the 31st. The former Nigerian captain goes down in history as the only African coach to have qualified 2 African teams to the World Cup, Togo in 2006 and Nigeria in 2014. His other enviable record has been the only African coach to have steered a team to the second round of the FIFA World Cup with Nigeria at the 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil. The Technical Committee of the Nigerian Football Federation says it will announce the new technical advisor of the country's national team in August. The body had earlier this month appointed former assistant coach Salisu Yusuf as the head coach of the Super Eagles. However, it remains in the hunt for a foreign coach who will serve as the technical advisor to the coach. Now, Chris Green, chairman of the NFF Technical and Development Committee, told newsmen the NFF was working to ensure the void will be filled in August. Captain of Team Nigeria to the Rio Olympics, Mikel Obi, has denied that he gave $30,000 to his teammate in the Under-23 Eagles squad who were camping in Atlanta, USA. Earlier reports on Thursday had stated that the Chelsea midfielder made the donation to the team as a way of helping to ease the financial struggles of the players. However, Mikel has denied the reports. The Chelsea player then appealed to Nigerians generally to rally round the team and wish the players and officials well as they get ready for the men's football tournament at the Rio Olympics. Well, that's it on News Now. We thank you very much for watching. Continue to stay tuned to TV360.